Okay, I needed to take a break from the painting for a while. I might still end up having to sand that down again and redo it because I'm not thrilled about it. But just to get away from it for a bit, I started working on the other front plate that we needed to mount our fans onto. For that, I'm using an old chassis that we just basically took all the guts out of it, took the hard drive cages, motherboard tray, everything out so that we can get at the top. I like to use the top in these cases for this kind of stuff because it gives you some rigidity, gives you something to hold on to when you're cutting it versus the side panel that vibrates around all over and tends to make a little bit more of a jagged cut. So in this piece I marked off where we're cutting it out. I already pre-drilled my holes for the fan mounts, or for the fan screws I should say, just because it's easier to do them now before we cut this out than to try to drill them close to the edges. Once the piece is already out, we're more likely to bend it if we wait and do it afterwards. And I started my pilot holes here for the jigsaw. So to cut these, I'm just going to use a ceramic blade. And basically this is a kind of blade that they use for cutting ceramic, like the name would say. It can be used for glass. They use it for ceramic tile. It's a lot finer tooth blade than most of your metal blades are, so it tends to cut slower, but because of that you're less likely to get off of your lines when you're cutting. If you use a regular metal blade, that rips through it pretty quick. If you move just a hair one way or another, you end up kind of screwing up your cut. So this slows you down so that you can make a more accurate cut. But enough about that. Let's get on to cutting this piece out. Okay, we have our piece cut out now. It's not perfect. You know, using a jigsaw like that, you're not going to get as clean a cut as you may be using a hole saw. It does have some jagged edges, but I will take a file to it. I use a flat file to knock the burrs down off the small holes for the mounts. And then I just use a like a half moon file for the inside holes here to clean them up. They don't have to be perfect because we are going to use trim around the holes themselves and also around the whole exterior of it. So even if it isn't perfect, I just want to take the burrs and stuff off of it. But now if we look at the other plate here, actually I'll back up a little bit here and try to get this in focus here. This basically should be an exact match for 2/3 of that other front plate. So we'll have to make the mounting brackets for that like we did on the black one here. I just cut out some strips of metal on these and bent them up and drilled the holes. Pop riveted that, so I'll do the same thing on the smaller piece and then we'll have that ready. Okay, I just wanted to catch up a little bit before I got too far ahead of you. I did finish working on the front bezels, just finished them now. The reason that we weren't too worried about the holes being perfect and stuff, as you see, is we trimmed it all out with rubber trim. This is actually automotive window trim that I'm using on it. I got a piece right here I can show you. I picked this up at the local auto body shop. It's kind of like the U channel that you can buy online. It's actually a little bit thicker though, and it really works good for vibration reduction. But anyway, here's our two front bezel pieces. I also have these pieces of the bezel. We already primed and painted these with the same gloss black that we used on the chassis, so that's going to match. Now I just got to get these mounted into here, and I'm also priming and painting the top parts of the case now with the big boy 200s in it. So probably in the next video I'll have them painted and ready to look at.